Hi everybody. Let's talk about EU trade with Russia. It collapses. Value of EU imports of goods from Russia experienced strong decrease of 83% from 2018 to 2025, from 163 billion euros to only 28 billion euros, 136 billion euros decrease, or 83%. In 2018, value of EU imports of goods from Russia was 161 billion euros. In 2019, 145 billion euros. In 2020, 95 billion euros. In 2021, 164 billion euros. In 2022, 203 billion euros. In 2023, 51 billion euros. In 2024, 36 billion euros, and in 2025 only 28 billion euros. Wonderful 83% decrease from 2018. And also, trade balance between EU and Russia experienced shift from trade deficit to trade surplus for EU countries. We can see strong repositioning and changing of global commodity trade routes, an EU shift from dependency on Russia crude oil, natural gas, petroleum products, and other global commodities to various other countries as a source of imports of those commodities. In 2018, trade balance between EU and Russia was 70 billion euros deficit. In 2019, 57 billion euros deficit. In 2020, 16 billion euros deficit. In 2021, 74 billion euros deficit. In 2022, 147 billion euros deficit. In 2023, 12 billion euros deficit. In 2024, only 4 billion euros deficit. And in 2025, 2 billion euros surplus. Wonderful. And also, two main countries that replaced Russia in EU imports of fossil fuels, Norway and US. Let's take a look at the data. In 2018, value of EU imports of goods from Norway was 61 billion euros. In 2019, 54 billion euros. In 2020, 42 billion euros. In 2021, 75 billion euros. In 2022, 161 billion euros. In 2023, 113 billion euros. In 2024, 97 billion euros, and in 2025, 95 billion euros. Import in 2025 was 56% stronger than in 2018. In 2018, value of EU imports of goods from US was 215 billion euros. In 2019, 235 billion euros. In 2020, 201 billion euro. In 2021, 233 billion euros. In 2022, 359 billion euros. In 2023, 348 billion euros. In 2024, 348 billion euros. And in 2025, 356 billion euros. Import in 2025 was 66% stronger than in 2018. Wonderful again. Compared to 2018, total increased value of imports from Norway and US in 2025 was 175 billion euros, and that is more than total value of imported goods from Russia in 2018, or 161 billion euros. Wonderful. What do you think about those shifts? I think this is a wonderful achievement of European Union. See you in the next video.